Hey, my medical coding family, how's everybody doing? Let's see. Gotta get, hey guys, let's see. Does that make any difference on TikTok? There we go. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. All right. Making sure everybody can see everything. Ooh, we got a flash flood warning. Let me see. Can anybody hear me? Let's see. Is that making any noise?
Yep. Anybody hear me?
Yep, they can. All right, good. Good. We're good there. Thanks for the shares and the taps. Let's get to some practice questions for today. Should be streaming both on TikTok and YouTube, so you should be able to see both today. How's everybody doing? Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Go-Kart. Woods, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Osborne. Hinchy, good to see you guys. It is a lot of work. My notes are crazy. They are. Hey, Lavender, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Good central timing here. Ah, good. I'm so glad. Hey, Twinkle, how's it going? You're on chapter 6. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing out the live. Thanks for all the tippy taps and all that stuff. Thanks for the heart me's. Thank you guys for the thumbs up on the YouTube also. Yeah, I was sitting here making notes earlier on the guidelines for 2026. Crazy, insane. Be sure and type in chat. Let me know when you guys are going to be planning on taking your certification exam and what you guys think the answer is for this question. 1019. Hey, Carla. That is coming up in just a few weeks. 25. EPT. You're taking yours in December, November the 11th, says Sabrina. Awesome. Shut the bedroom door. I can hear James's TV stuff going off. The mail just got delivered. What do you guys think is the answer? You're struggling right now to get CPC certified. Some people do struggle. Some people can take it and pass it first attempt. It just depends on your exam taking abilities. Are you a good multiple choice question exam taker? Oh, I got some free TikTok swag. Oh, that is so cute. I got 2 of them. I got catnip toys for the kitty cats from the TikTok shop. Yay! Get to make 2 little videos about those. And what is this? That sounds weird. What in the world? You're taking yours on the 18th, Lizette? Ooh, we got A's and D's. Ooh, I don't know what this. Oh, water brushes. This looks like a pin set and some water brushes. So more items from the TikTok shop. What are these? Acrylic marker set. Ooh, these are pretty. They're like dusty rose colors, oranges, sunset colors, greens, blues, purples. Those are cool. Now, supposed to have something else from the TikTok shop show up, but or oh no, it's a birthday present for Travis's one of the cheerleaders on the cheer team. Waiting on another item to show up. I hope your son's team wins tonight. Yeah, you're here, but you're at a football game. Aw, I took mine the first exam last month, and awesome. That is great. That's a great learning experience. If you, I took mine the very first attempt just as a learning exercise, you know, right? So that I'd know how to study for my next attempt. Because I had no idea what I was going to face until I took the exam. So I took it right away without studying, just so I knew how to prepare to study for the exam. Because I was too lazy to do too much research over the internet and take that much time. I just wanted to go see what it was all about. So I paid for the 2 attempts and took it right away. And then I used that knowledge of my first attempt to plan my attack for my second attempt to pass. Yes, this one is 19. You know, at the very bottom, they're asking you to code anesthesia services. So you know right away, the only thing that you're going to be coding is A or B, because everything that's in C and D are coded in chapters that are not in anesthesia. That's musculoskeletal procedures, and they're not anesthesia services. So you can only code A or B. Your differences between A and B Nage and Elsa, thanks for the follow, guys. 1400 is NOS, where 1402 is a knee replacement. What did we do today? We did not do a knee replacement. If we had done the knee replacement, it would have been 1402. Anything that is not a knee replacement would be the 1400. So that's why our answer is A. Good job. What do you guys think about this one? Sorry, guys, I was just trying to set up a camera for our other YouTube display over here. My IT director was working on the computer this weekend, and I lost my little girl. I gotta go find how do I put her back onto OBS. So she's not there today, but I'll she got deleted. I have to put her back on. Uh, what do you guys think is the answer for this one? Michelle, thank you so much for the follow. You're awesome.
Has become a member.
Oh, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. You're now going to have access to all of the replay videos, Karen, all my book prep videos, anything that I make here on TikTok or YouTube. If you want to watch me making my notes page by page, those are all available on that YouTube membership. So awesome. Very cool. You'll have access to all of those, the workshops, all that stuff. Be sure to, when you're on that app, right, and you go to my channel, be sure you know how to scroll through the options right there. Videos, shorts, lives, the podcast, the playlist, the post. That's a lot of practice exam questions. Playlist is great. You can see how many videos are inside each one, and in your book prep videos, there is 130 in CPT, and then there is 33 in the ICD-10 book. There's only 5 questions in ICD-10 on our certification exam, so that's why there's more, of course, on the CPT book, but those videos alone are super helpful. Everybody's saying C is the correct answer for this one. I don't see anybody picking anything different, so I'm just going to leave it alone at C. Perfect, guys. We did so far one Friday class, and I figured out in Zoom how to send everybody like a little tiny exam. Like you'll do 2 to 4 questions, and I'll send them to your computer, right? And you'll do them alone by yourself and submit the answers. And then once I get everybody to answer them in 2 minutes or less per question, then I'll share the results, like tell you what the answers are. I don't share, like your name and how well you scored or whatever, but that's been really cool. We did that this Friday. So if you want to attend something like that, I do have one for this Friday coming up. It's $6. We spent almost 4 hours practicing questions, but in this format, you get kind of influenced by the chat room, about what the answer is sometimes. The other way, in my Zoom lessons, you don't get to see what everybody else's answers are first. So you're all on your own, right? And then you're going through your books and trying to answer them. And then you don't get, nobody knows who got the answers wrong. So that's cool. You don't have to worry about what you're posting in chat might be wrong, but so that's kind of cool. So anyway, we did that this Friday. So if you want to do it this Friday, we'll be doing it at 11:30 Arizona time zone. So right now it's like 4:50. So if you want to do that, it's pretty cool. What do you guys think is the answer to this question? I can make this bigger too, because this looks really kind of small. Here we go. Thank you guys for all the taps and shares. We got 3 shares and we have 1,000 taps on TikTok. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the heart me's. And on YouTube, thank you for the thumbs up before you come into the chat room. This one, I think everybody's got that one right too. Unless I see anybody with a wrong answer, I won't explain them. I'll just keep going so that you guys can see more practice questions. Oops. Come on, computer. Don't fail me now. Let me get back to our questions. What's going on with my Word document? It looks good on your end. It does not look good on my end because my Word document. Is blank. Okay, there we go. Sorta. I think I might be running out of. You like my mouse? It's one of those stand-up ones. It was helping my hands hurt so much. They were hurting really bad before I started using this mouse, and it has made a difference. I'm not slathering my hands and being gay right now. Okay, I gotta close Word for some reason. Don't save. Okay, and then yeah. Yeah, I'm working on it. TikTokers. Just a second. Just a minute, TikTokers. I'm working on it. Oh, let me get at least YouTube back up. We did that one, so let's get 22 working. Go. And then TikTok. Delete. Add. you. I'm not able to keep TikTok going and working. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what's going on with the studio, but I can't seem. Well, it looks good on your end. It just does not look good on my studio end. Maybe, okay. All right, if I just keep my phone open, I can tell what I'm sending you guys. But what it looks like on my side does not look right. But what I can see on my cell phone looks okay. Okay, never mind. Anyway, here we go. What do you guys think is the answer to this one? And this one's 22. I got a couple of C's in this one. So let's go look. If you guys are on, oops, wrong one. I'm going to grab this one and we'll use our camera. Right? We are at either the 209, 290s or 291s or 292s. So we can check the very beginning of the book. And we can see if these are all going to be in the same header or not. So the 290s are under cast, 291 are under splints, and 292 are under strappings. I like checking the front of the chapters where they list out all the codes and their headers to see what we're doing. So even with just this little page, that right there, where it's 290, 291, or 292, you can see your differences, right? Casting, splitting, or strapping. Our exam question says a cast, so you know your answer has to be in a 290. That is super handy dandy to use during the CPC exam because it's fast, it's efficient. You know, with that one word, you have to be A or B. C wouldn't even come into play because we are not doing splints and we're not doing strappings. Then you can go to your 290, 65, and 70. $65 and $75, and it's just a difference between body parts. Are we shoulder or elbow? Where's the arm? Where would the arm be? The 65 is arm, and then 75 is arm, but it depends on whether you're doing a long arm or a short arm. And our question does say short arm cast. You can think about how they could make this exam question harder too. You know, if it's one like this one where it actually says everything that the CPT code descriptor says, like short arm and long arm, how could they make this harder? What if they said they just put a casting on from somebody's elbow to their finger? That seems like that would be a long arm cast, right? Because that's a long body part. But you can see that
Shane Williams has become a member.
Has to be from the shoulder way up here all the way to the hand for it to be considered long arm. So what if they just gave you body parts in the exam question? So every time I do a question, I look at it and think about how could I make it harder? How could I make it easier? What's my differences between my codes? That kind of information is helpful during your CPC exam. And who was that? Whoever it was, thank you so much for signing up for the YouTube membership. I hope those practice exam questions in our workshops and all the book prep videos help you guys out so much. All right. Just in case that wasn't clear, our answer for this one is B. What about this one? I think that's very helpful. I don't usually think like that. Yay! Yep. I like to try to make the exam questions harder on myself or easier, or think about how they could rewrite this question for the CPC exam. Because you know, when they give it to you as practice, it's a little different than the way they make it for the CPC exam. So every time I'm done with it, then I think about how to make it harder. All right, guys, what do you guys think is the exam answer for this one? My muscular skeletal notes take forever to do in this section. It's such a big section. The main thing is in the front of your book, there is an anatomy table where they describe all the different body parts. Ooh, this one came out as infra, intra, extra, peri, retro, trans. These things are very helpful for your musculoskeletal exam. These are proximal, distal, posterior, medial, lateral. Tri, that means 3 bones right there. Trimandibular, right? Those things are super helpful during the exam. Everybody saying B. I haven't seen Go-Kart saying C. What's our differences? 7702 versus 7703. Right here. It's a decision whether it was revised or not. Did they have a previous total ankle replacement? If you're an 03, then you're replacing the ankle that had already been replaced. And we don't say anything like that. So it has to be the 02. All right. What do you guys think about the 301s? What's going on here? Thanks for the follow. I hear it going off. I'm just missing them. Have you guys ever thought about utilizing the index in the back of the book to tell you what the answer is? Like, we have this alphabetical index in the back of our CPT book. And if you know anything about the index in the ICD-10 book, you need to know the magic word so that you can look up your ICD-10 code. Well, in the CPT index, you don't need a magic word. You can look up the procedure, you can look up the body part, you can look up anything. So for like this exam question, what did we remove or whatever? We did a polyp. So I could either go to nasal, I could go to polyp, I could do whatever I wanted. And if I did go to polyp, I think I forgot where I had it, but you just go to the word polyp right back here in your alphabetical index, and you look for the body part, which is nose, right? It tells you what your answer is, 301110 or a 30115. And the only difference is one of them is simple and one of them is extensive. We do have inside that exam question the word extensive. So you know your answer is only one code. That prevents you from having to look up 4 different CPT codes, look up 4 different descriptions, and try to figure out what your answer is. The back will actually tell you what your answer is. And then you could just pick D and move on. Isn't that, I mean, it's really easy. It's a lot easier than looking it up with the, like the ICD-10 book. See, I only went to polyp, and then I went to nose, and there's only 3 different answers. One of them's a scope, and then the other 2 are simple and extensive. And it tells you what the answer is. It is really easy to use the alphabetical index, and it's faster than going to 4 different codes and looking up the descriptors. Might be something that you guys, especially for the ones that haven't passed and have taken it before, and they're finding it hard to figure out which is the correct answer when they're looking up 4 different codes and they're always picking the wrong answer. Start using the alphabetical index in the back of the CPT book and see if that doesn't help get your scores better. What about this one? What do you guys think is the answer? Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for tappy tap taps. We almost have 10,000 taps. Wow, that's great. What do you guys think is the answer? Our rhinoplasties. Number 30, which is answer B, is secondary. Yep, if they had done it before, and this is a revision. Yep. And then our 00, 10, and 20 are primary. The first time we did this patient's rhinoplasty. Noticing that that's the first thing that you need to know is, are we doing primary or secondary in our rhinoplasty area is very helpful. Yep, yep, yep. We do see the word secondary. So you know it cannot be A and it cannot be D. You have to go to B or C. And then those two differences are just whether you did any bone removal or not. Sorry, I forgot to circle. B is our answer. Yep, yep, yep. What do you guys think about this one? Thank you for the heart me, Christy. Yay. Thank you for the tappy taps. We almost have 10,000. Thank you for sharing out. Who was that? What do you guys think the answer is on TikTok? Indeed, we are C. Everybody's in agreement. C is our answer for this one. I don't see any issues. No one's picking anything different. So we'll move on to the next one. All right. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? In case you didn't know, your HipPix book does have an appendix C that does have a list of acronyms in it that are super helpful in picking out correct answers during your exam. Indeed, I see everybody's getting it right. Perfect. We do have a D. Great. I'll move on to our next one. What about this one? It's also in HipPix. I wonder how much trouble it is to look up the answer in the alphabetical index in the HitPix book instead of looking at the 4 different CPT codes. Mm. I bet you'd have to look under nutrition. Not going to be under amino acids. This one, you're going to have to know the magic word. I hate having to know the magic word. I just want to look up any of the words and then it refer me there. That would be right easier. There's nutrition. Yep. And if you look through para, yep. And then it'll tell you what your answers are. Perineal solutions is the 6-4 or through to the 52. Yeah, you'd have to look up, you'd have to know your magic word. So I looked under amino, I looked under acid. It's not under those, so we had to go to nutrition to find it. I hate those kind of indexes. I like them, the CPT index, because you could look up anything and it'll refer you to what the code is instead of looking up one place and then not finding it and having to go to another place. I hate that. Anyway, what do you guys think is the answer to this one? This one is C. Perfect. I don't see anybody. Yeah. All right. Modifiers. Gotta love modifiers. Any tips on anatomy? Yeah, everything you need to know for anatomy is inside these manuals. Your CPT, your ICD-10, and your HitPix. For anatomy in your ICD-10 or CPT book, in your CPT book, what I like to do is if it's got a picture of a body part, right, and it's labeled, I'll Google what that body part does. Like the aortic arch, it takes blood to the head and the upper extremities. The left common carotid, it takes blood to the brain and the face. Anything that's got a picture in it, I just Google it and see what it does. And then I write a few prefixes, suffixes, acronyms in that area. And if there's any kind of list of things, like there's 3 types of blood vessels, anything that's got any kind of like list, like what's in the small intestines, what's in the large intestines, I like to add my little list over there. And then in your ICD-10 book, it has all of the anatomy in it right before you code a section. So I'm in the endocrine section right now. I was working on the guidelines, right? Well, right after the guidelines, they're going to talk about the anatomy of the endocrine system. We're going to start it out at a cellular level, build the organs of it, tell you how all of it works. And then the next page, they'll talk about the common diseases of it. Just know where these are at. Have read a little bit about each one of them in the beginning of each chapter. This is the cardiovascular system, right? And then they'll have a whole list of all of the common diseases of the heart. Super easy. Just know where your anatomy is located in your book. Be sure you know about the pictures that are in the front of the book. You know, ICD-10 has a bunch of pictures of the anatomy. Know where those are located and what's on those pictures, right? They might ask you about the layers of an artery. Can you run to that really quickly and know where it's located at in case you needed to know where the internal elastic lamina is at? I don't know what they're going to ask you, but just knowing where your pictures are, knowing where your anatomy and diseases are located is all you need to know so that you can run to those sections and find your answer. Don't forget about your alphabetical index in your ICD-10 and your HitPix book and your CPT book, because even looking up the disease and then run into the codes that are affected, you'll find your anatomy right there. And there's also anatomy pictures even at the code level. So if they're even talking about a disease, the AAPC version, not Optum, but the AAPC version will have pictures to explain whatever disease is going on, even inside the code area. So super helpful. Just know your books. You'll be fine. What do you guys think is the answer to 29 here? Which modifier are we picking? Everybody got C? I think so. This one was C. Yeah, good. All right, what about this one? All right, we got this thing running again. Good Lord. All right. What number were we on? Let me see. Like 20 something, right? Was it like, oh no, it's too far. 20 something, right? We were here. We did modifier. Did we pick out the modifier? Did I ever say what the answer was? I can't remember. But our answer is 53 with this one. Let's see. Okay. Where's my... Let's see. Get Rare on the YouTube and see if that's a working. Is it working? Yep. Oh God, it is. Okay, good. Woo. All right. I knew I was being bad. I hadn't rebooted this computer since Saturday. I just shut it off and turn it off every day, then it works better. All right, this one was A. Did everybody get A for that one? I think this is where we were at. We were at the pre-molded. Yeah. Okay. Next in. Bacillin. Ooh, I got a document to give you guys for this one. Where is my, hold on. And let me make this bigger since we are just on YouTube. Of course, I lost it. Let's go back down to, what number was that one? This one. There we go. And then I can make it a little bit bigger by doing that. There we go. What? Yeah. All right, guys. What do you guys think the answer is for this one? And then I got a cool little table for you guys for this one. Try again, Sabrina. See where we at. This one's hard because J05. Five, 558. It says bicillin CR. See the CR is listed way down here under the blue drug header, right? The blue drug header. And we're looking for bicillin LA. J05 61. Yep, right there. Bicillin LA, right there. Yep. Just look for those blue headers underneath the descriptors for your main name type from the manufacturer. See if I can't get this in here. Probably need another page. But so I made this chart. I still gotta copyright it, put some stuff on it so that people don't just steal it. But it's got penicillin on it. It's got your generic names for it. It has your brand names for it, and then your common HIPIX codes that are related to it. There's 8 or 9 different types of antibiotics, from penicillins to cephalosporins to all kinds. And just knowing what their generic name is, and then knowing what their brand names are, and then their common HIPIXs is super helpful. Yep. I just got to finish up the finishing touches on this. I don't even think I have bicillin LA and CR on here yet, so I got to get those brand names on here, but even our Flagyl, vancomycins, some of that stuff is hard to find in here. You can't find it in the drug name index or stuff because brand names aren't really considered part of HIPAA code or, because they use the scientific generic name, right? So that's one of the issues here. And if we just wrote some of the brand names in here, that would make things a lot easier. So I'm working on this chart. Almost done. All right, guys. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? What's today? All those darn advertisements. Skip, skip, skip. Don't want to see it. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Ileectomy, partial, with hemostasis and oh, oh my god. Y'all use the back of the freaking CPT book instead of going to all of those CPT codes. Oh my god. The difference, dudes. Oh, the difference is amazing. So, I know this looks crazy, but if you go to the back of the book and just look up your colectomy, partial is your first header right there. With hemostasis is your second. And then all you got to do is find your third thing that you did is that thing, which is right there. And it gives you two codes as your answer, 45 and a 46. Well, we only have one of those answers available right here. If y'all aren't playing around with the back of this CPT book, y'all are missing out because that is cool how it just literally ladder steps you to the correct answer and you don't have to look at the CPT codes and the descriptors. That is pretty amazing. And it ain't D. Is it, or is it D? It is D. Sorry. Wrong one. Laparoscopic. It is the laparoscopic one. Yeah. Sorry. Yep. But I love the back of the book. Sometimes it can just ladder step you to the correct answer. Makes it really easy. I already had it highlighted. Yeah. What about this one? We got that word. Wonder what that looks like in the back of the book. A C D N E P H A B C D right there. Let's see. P H R O L. Here we go. Lithotomy. If we did it percutaneously, we know it's going to be in the 80s, but without being percutaneous, it's going to be 60s to 75s. Right up above it. Let's see if it can show you guys better. Right there. We did a removal. Or 65. $70, $75. Just takes you to all 4 codes. Not very helpful on that one. We still have to go to the 5 codes or 4 codes. If we go to our 500s. Our differences between those are whether we removed large items or just because of a congenital kidney abnormality. And this is congenital, so we know it's 70. Yeah. This one, cystourethoscope. Go look up our cystourethoscopes. urethra biopsy gives you 52007 in the back of the book. Ooh, cool. Yep, that way you know your answer is just A. Yep. Can you look up strap? Wonder. Up. And we've got 2 horizontal muscles. So this one, I just went to STRABISMUS. Then I look down for 2 horizontal muscles right there, and it tells you the answer is 67312, which is B. And then you don't have to go look up all of those different code descriptors in your book. I'm distracted by the freaking sunset outside my window. I don't know if you guys can see this because it is like, you're going through a computer screen, but holy crap, it is really beautiful orange sunset outside right now. It is gorgeous out there. Anyway, it is pretty. I got distracted looking at it going, ooh, that's pretty. And then I had to take a picture. All right. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Chest x-ray. Chest x-ray tells us we got to go look up the word x-ray. D, E, F, G, H. And then we look up x-ray. We get to the word x-ray. And we look up
Karen Lindsay has become a member.
chest. Takes you to 45 through 48. Doesn't do much help. We have to go look at our different codes in the radiology section. 4 views. Should be the second code or something. 710. 1 view, 2 view, 3 views. We ought to be pretty close together. This one's a single view is our 45. 2 views is 46. 3 views is 47. 48 is 4 views. And you do not times these codes. These don't have the word each in them. So, you know, B and D are out the door. It can only be A or C. And A is the 4 views. Yep. Another Karen? Did we have 2 Karens today? Join up for the YouTube memberships. I gave away 5. And then, yeah, I can't look back, but we had another Karen. We had 2 Karens today. That's awesome. All right, what do you guys think about this next one? You go to your index in the back of the book and you look up microscope. Valuations. Your last one at the bottom has the urinalysis and it tells you it is 81015. Yep, so you know your answer is D with this one. I have the levels listed in the back of the index somewhere. We go under surgical, under it. Just says go see surgical pathology. Surgical pathology does have levels listed. We just had to go under the right word, surgical. And so if you look for level 4, it tells you that your answer is the 305 over here for your level 4. But you just had to go under the word surgical pathology, not just pathology. So that one's A. Page 712. I happen to be on page 1314, but I'm using the back of the book, the alphabetical index, to look up the answers. I'm trying something different instead of running to the CPT codes. All right, let's go to heart and go to catheterization. Native. So if you go into your alphabetical index in the back of the book, 1137, you'll find cardiac catheterization. You'll find some indentions, and the first indention that makes sense is your congenital cardiac defects, right? Where was the cardiac defect? Was it on the right, the left, or combo? This question says we're on the right side of the heart. So the right is the last little indention down there, and it tells you you have to be either a 93 code or a 94 code. So it gets you down to B or D as far as it'll go. B or D. And then you got to run to the 935, 93, and the 94. But at least it gets you down to just 2 answers. And then look up your differences between 93 and 94. normal native connections or abnormal native connections. And we have abnormal ones. Yep, so we know we are the 9-4. Yep. Does help out a little bit on that question. This one is B, because of the abnormal native connections, because our 93 is normal. All right. Performance measurements. I know that's back here in our index because I just saw it. You can look up the word performance if you wanted to. And performance measurements are listed starting on page 1270. Which one are we looking for? For rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis starts on page 1273. And we're doing disease activity assessment. Says it has to be a 70, a 71, or a 72. So that gets you down to a 50-50 shot where it has to be C or D. Then you can just run to those codes, which are going to be here in this red area. 3, 4, 3, 4, 7. $70 and $71. One of them's low, one of them's moderate. And we have moderate. So that takes us straight to C. Because this one is low and this one is moderate. See the difference? One's low, one's moderate. What do you guys think on this one? Indeed. We do have immunizations listed in your alphabetical index for our various toxoids. And D is our answer for counseling. Anytime you see that word, you know you have to be a 60 or a 61. These are just administration fees for the syringes and stuff. But the counseling gets the 60. We have a combo MRI. Magnetic imaging. With and without. Got to look up the word magnetic to find it in your alphabetical index. What do you guys think? Indeed, I think everybody got this one right. It is our D or B. Sorry, B. I'm dyslexic. Sorry, B. No, it's our D for this one. One of them is without, one of them is with, and then we have our combo one. And then our ones that end in number 7 are for during a surgery intraoperatively. Ooh, another modifier one. This one's easy though. Just look at our little sidebar for our modifier alerts. Yep, C is the answer for that one. Easy peasy. Appendix L. So that guideline is right here on page 1011. It is the very first sentence right up here that the model assumes that the aorta is the starting point of catheterization. Right there. Assumes that the aorta, blah, 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 starting point of the catheterization. That's all they're asking, is whether you know where this guideline is at. Right there. Thank you for putting in the page numbers for 2024. Excellent. What is the full description of that one? Let me get it all into one page. Gotta change it to 14 maybe. And then let me, there we go. This is asking if you guys understand, actually, this page right here in the front of your book, page XVI, and do you understand the format of the terminology in this book, where they give you an example of two codes and what that means for the second code in the description. So here, this code description is not each additional 10% of the surface body or part of therefore. That's not the descriptor. The description of this CPT code is the debridement of extensive whatever or infected skin, each additional 10% of the body surface. It stops at the semicolon, and the 11000 difference is up to 10% of the body. This one is for each additional 10% of the body, but it includes the description. They didn't want to have to rewrite the full extent of the descriptors over and over again when there's just an indented code. You're supposed to know that because it's indented, it includes in its descriptor everything that the one above it does, or this code could be several pages away. It doesn't have to be right above it. It could be 3 pages backwards. You have to know your differences between your mama and your children codes and how everything inside mama up into the semicolon is included inside that descriptor. So this one's answer is B. You probably will get a question like this on your certification exam. So be sure to know how to look up those. The answer is B with this one. It is not answer A because answer A includes this sentence. That's not the description of that number. This description is only for the 11000 code. A lot of these descriptions in Integumentary are funny. Like, if we were at these 1700 codes, so like, if you guys were doing a question about the 1700 CPT code, and you removed, like, I don't know, 6, what are they calling them, lesions? Out of those available answers, create an answer for 6 lesions. What would be your answer for 6 lesions? Based off those descriptions right here. What would be your answer for 6 lesions? I can get it all on one page. Probably not the way I wrote it. Oops. anybody's awake enough to do this. I only see one person with a correct answer so far. I got 37 of you guys in. So our 1700 code, the last two words says first lesion. That's super handy dandy to know. Our 03 says second through 14. Then it has the word each. Our 14 code says, or 4 code, I'm sorry, not 14, but 4 code says 15 or more. Those are the most important things in those descriptors that guide you to picking out a correct answer. Anytime, hopefully there's no stupid advertisements, but anytime a CPT code has the word each in it, or per day, per month, per surgery, per encounter, those are the codes that do not get modifiers. And they're also the codes that you multiply. You multiply them to account for each of whatever you're doing, an encounter, a visit, a lesion, that each will mean per whatever you're doing. So the answer for 6 lesions would be 17000 with your 17003 times 5. This equals 1. This answer equals 5. 5 plus 1 equals 6 lesions. If you had 17 lesions, the 04 does not have the word each in it. We do not times that one. Your answer would just be the 17004. Even if you had 99 lesions and not just 17, it would still be the same number because it has the words or more in it, which is not each. Now, where we were at in the previous question, right here with the 11000s, what if we had %11 that we needed to do? Out of 11000 and 11000, 001, out of those two codes, what would be the answer for 11% if each of the descriptors say up to 10% or for each additional 10%? What does that mean when we're at 11%? What would be the answer? When we're doing 10%, because this is meant to do up to 10%, and then we have each additional 10%, like 20% would mean both, 30%, 40%, 50%. What do we do when it's just 11%? Yep. Perfect, because this one says or part of. That last few little words in the CPT descriptor, change it from having to be 10% to or any part of any additional, meaning that yes, our answer would be, and then the 11001. Yep. One of the things in the front of our book, when we're billing for any surgical procedures, we have time guideline that's in the front of the book. This one's on page XX. So anything that is not integumentary, E&M in the front of the book, but anything from anesthesia all the way back through the medicine, if your CPT code descriptor is dealing with time, this sentence says that you need to pass the halfway point plus one more of whatever it is to be able to bill for an additional code when it comes to time for certain things. So like if you're doing infusion or other things, I know like back here, if you don't take that code in consideration when you're looking at descriptors, because that guideline supersedes anything else, right? So if you're over here and you're at your 96360s and your 96361, those two codes, you can see that your descriptor says that 31 minutes to 1 hour is right here. And then each additional hour is done with your 61. What would you code for an hour and 30-minute hydration? What would be your answer from those two codes for that time? Froze again. Aw. I wonder what in the world. Hmm. Oh, I was just being quiet. I'm waiting on somebody to answer. Hmm. Yeah. Tick tock, tick tock. So this descriptor. Let me see if I can't make this taller so I can get up here to the camera. Says 31 minutes to 1 hour. Now remember your guideline in the front. Before you can bill an additional hour, which is your add-on code down here, half of the time of the additional hour needs to pass by, plus one more of whatever component it is, before you can add that second hour. So look at this again. Look, it says a unit of time is obtained when the midway point has passed. For an example, an hour is obtained when 31 minutes has elapsed for more than midway point between 0 and 60 minutes. A second hour is obtained after 91 minutes has elapsed. So when you're looking at this code, you can't look at this descriptor and say, oh, that hour is met. Any 1 minute over means that I get to code this code. No, you can't code this code until the midway point has passed plus one more minute. So you need, this one only covers 1 hour. What is the midway point plus one more minute for you to be able to build this? You can't even build this right here if 31 minutes hasn't even passed by. Look at the descriptor, 31 minutes. If you did hydration for 20 minutes on a patient, then you can't even bill for it because you didn't meet the requirement of midway, half of an hour plus one more minute. You have to have 31 minutes. For this to be billed, you need 60 minutes plus 31 is 91 minutes before you can even bill this one. So an hour and 30 minutes is only 90 minutes. You can't bill that one. Your answer for this answer is just this code. If it is 1 hour and 31 minutes, then you get to bill both. You can't take the codes and the descriptors for face value without considering your very beginning of the book, guidelines that they write out for you in the very front that tell you the instructions for use of the book. Another example of this is right here. Home infusion 99601, 99601, and 99602. They have per visit for 2 hours. Then they have each additional hour. If you saw the patient for 2 hours and 30 minutes 3 times a week for 2 weeks. What's your answer for that one? Two hours, 30 minutes, 3 times a week for 2 weeks. Thank you guys for the thumbs up in the YouTube chat. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know your time is valuable away from your family and laundry and everything. Hopefully this is helpful. I appreciate you guys trying to practice this. The 99601 is, in its descriptor, good for 2 hours. This one equals 1 hour. Did half of that hour plus 1 more minute go by for you to be able to bill 602? If you did 2 hours and 30 minutes 3 times a week times 2 weeks. There you go, Sabrina. Sabrina's got it right at 99601 times 6. Because these are per visit in the descriptor, right? We did not meet the qualifications in this time frame. If that's all the info we got, is 2 hours, 30 minutes, 3 times a week times 2 weeks. We don't have enough info at all to bill 602. So we would only bill for the 601 times there's 6 visits. 3 times 2 is 6. Or you just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so that you can count and see how many it was for the 2-week period. Sometimes math gets hard. I like to draw my little stick figures. Now, if it said 2 hours and 35 minutes 3 times a week times 2 weeks, then you would bill 99602 also times 6. They would both be times 6. So just because the descriptor might say it's good for 2 hours and that this one is good for each additional whatever, if you don't meet the guideline for time in the front of the book for all your CPT codes from anesthesia all the way back, they have to be half plus 1 more of whatever it is. Then you can't bill it. no matter what your descriptor says. So have tons of these examples written in my books with the notes in them. I put down, like if I did this example, what's my answer? And then, I do them all like that so that I just write down whatever answer it is. But yeah, these are cool. They love asking about these questions that have a descriptor that you're trying to follow to the letter, right? But then you don't know about the guideline in the front of the book that half of that hour plus one more needs to go by. And then I'll just write a bunch of examples like 1 hour, 30 minutes equals one code. 1 hour and 30.
Norma Alvarado has become a member.
1 hour and 31 minutes means you do 2 codes. So I like to write a bunch of examples down when I'm dealing with these codes. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. I got sidetracked and got passionate about something, but that is one of the areas where people get things wrong a whole bunch, is knowing what the descriptors mean. And thank you so much, Norma, for joining the YouTube channel. That is awesome. What about this one? This one can be answered by, again, the front of your book where it's got the instructions for how to use it, right? Those instructions where place of service matters. And that's on page XIX in the front. Place of service. The last 2 sentences right there. That's where your answers are. Good night, guys. This one is not B. It's not B. It's that pink sentence that I have. Services provided in a home by an agency are what services? Right there. This is an agency. This has nothing to do with a provider. There you go. It's A. All right, guys. I hope this was super helpful. I even put this one at the top right here. It says home services provided by an agency equals facility. So I even wrote it up here in my notes. I hope this is helpful. We'll do 2 more hours next Monday. I do have my duck class. Anybody wants to attend on Friday? It's $6. We'll do 2 or 3 hours of practice questions where you guys will get your own little mini exam and you won't see anybody else's answers. You guys will get like 2 to 5 questions sent to your computer screen, and then you guys can submit the answers, and then you'll get to see everybody's overall results, and then what the correct answers are, and we'll go over the rationales. It's a great way to practice to see if you're ready for the exam. If you're getting all of them right and you're bored during the the thing, then you're doing great. I do pick questions that are meant for you to get wrong. So if you do join, don't feel like you don't know anything if you got every one of the questions wrong. It was my intention. I picked tricky questions that are the worst of the worst that you will ever see, and then bombard you with them for 2 hours. So it can be a little depressing if you show up and you think, oh God, I don't know anything. But don't. It's meant to show you the worst of the worst. And if you do see them again on your exam, you're going to know, oh, I missed that with Jen. I'm going to know what the answer is. So you won't be tricked. So that's really good value. But don't feel like you don't know anything if you show up and get everything wrong. It's my intention. So we're doing that on Friday. If you want to attend, it's on Zoom. That way you can have a conversation. You can ask questions without having to wait for me to maybe see it in chat, those kind of things. It's kind of handy dandy. You can just speak up, and it's small. It's no big deal. It's just us guys. And then on Tuesday, tomorrow, we're doing our CPT cardiovascular chapter 10 practical applications and our end of chapter exam questions for that chapter in our course lessons. So I know Twinkle and Go Kart. I'll see you guys tomorrow for that at 11:30. I'm going to go reboot my computer, make sure it's perfect for tomorrow so we don't have any issues. But I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys either Friday or Monday, or of course Sunday, where we're doing book prep for these guidelines, because I'm always working on these book preps. But I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys later. Love you guys. I hope this was helpful. What time frame? It's 11:30 Arizona time zone on Friday. Plus you get the replay, which is good for 30 days. If you can't attend on that day, we're thinking about switching them maybe to Saturdays, but for now, this Friday, it's thin. I don't know if I'll have another one the rest of the month because I got to do a workshop. So I got to get prepared to do a workshop for the end of the month. So we're getting close on that. Anyway, I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday or Friday. You're welcome. The replay of tonight's video will be available on YouTube too. You guys can just hit the rewind button and it'll automatically start rewinding it for you. You can watch the questions over again without the interruptions. It won't record where I wasn't there, which is nice.